So I'd like to review an episode of Babylon 5, Season 1, Episode 3, Born to the Purple. So it starts off with Commander Sinclair and Jakar looking for Londo Millard. So he's doing his normal thing, hanging out, chilling, not really caring. So they find him in a bar. He's watching this dancer or stripper or something. I can never really tell. Okay. So, they agree to go and actually do take care of their work later on. All right. So scene turns to Londo hanging out with this dancer or stripper or whatever. She's in his room, in his quarters, and they, start making out and all that good stuff. So I'll skip to the chase here. Basics of this episode is basically Londo just not doing his job. He's just like, screw it. I'm going to still spend the whole episode hanging out with this chick. Screw that work. Screw this important meeting I have to go to with, Jakar. There's some negotiation. He's just like, man, screw that crap. Okay. I don't care. All right. Basically, it turns out that this dancer or stripper or whatever, she's been tricking this dude. All right. She's actually been hired by somebody else to get some secret information from Londo. So she drugs him and goes through his computer files and steals or copies some data. And the data that she's actually looking for, I think her name is Adira. Apparently, all these royal houses keep a lot of dirt on other people in the government, other royal houses and important people in the government. That's kind of how they maintain their position, which makes a lot of sense. Now, Adira is actually a slave. So the gentleman, I believe his name was Trachis. Okay. He's telling her, I will give you your freedom, but you have to do this for me. Okay. Now, I actually wonder if he really was ever going to give her freedom or not, or he was just talking crap. You never really know. Okay. But anyways, if she wants her freedom, she has to go through it and steal this data from Londo, which she does. Now, honestly, Adira to me was not a bad character because honestly, you could tell she really didn't want to do it, but she kind of had no choice. So push comes to shove. Londo enlists the aid of Commander Sinclair. He can't go to the government or make it official because he's not supposed to have this information. Okay. First of all, it's going to, hey, what are you doing with this information? Second of all, it'll look bad. He'll look like a fool and it'll ruin his position. He got played like that. So they basically run game on Trachis and trick him into giving up the location of the information and where this Adira lady is. Adira has an attack of conscience. So she decides not to actually take the information to Trachis and actually decides to try and sneak off the station. Now, Trachis, he's a pretty slick dude, though. He goes to Londo and tells her, hey, she's a Narn agent. And she tricked me, okay? I didn't know she was a Narn agent. I just found out that she stole information from you. And, I don't want to be held accountable for this. So let's get together and let's go track her. Like I said, basically, Londo figures out this dude is full of crap. And he goes and does his own investigation with the help of Commander Sinclair. And they find out the whole deal that she's a slave and he's forcing her to do it. So like I said, they basically tricked this guy into giving them the location of Adira with the help of the resident telepath, Talia Winters. Okay. So, it's not a bad episode, man. There's a sub-story going on with Susan Ivanova, which actually seemed kind of boring to me at first, but actually is more interesting as the episode ends. Turns out that she's actually sending messages, unauthorized. There's something called Gold Channel. And I guess you have to have certain situations to send these messages. So Garibaldi notices it, and he goes to her, and she plays it off like, yeah, I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Maybe you just imagine it. So Garibaldi ends up finding out that it's her father. She's been contacting her father. Apparently her father is about to die, and they had a bad relationship, and he apologizes for the way he treats her. So let me give you my 2 cents, my idea on the episode. Man, it's not the best episode, but definitely not the worst. It's actually kind of interesting because you do have some character development with Londo, which was actually good. You get to see more of his character. You get to see that he's this guy who basically is kind of old and burnt out and don't care anymore. You know, he's intelligent when he needs to be. You kind of see that, but you also see that he don't care anymore. Okay. He just like, man, whatever, you know, I'm just tired. So it was some good character development for him. You get some information about the Centauri. I mean, you get to see this female Centauri. You get to know that they actually do engage in slavery. Slavery is legal. Okay. So, I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Also, you get this information about the royal houses. You understand that how they politics work and how much backstabbing and mess that goes on. And of course, that's going to play into more later episodes. A lot of these early episodes of season 1 were not bad episodes, but I wouldn't say that they're great episodes, but they were episodes basically you can kind of tell that the show is trying to find itself and it's actually developing characters and things, but it was kind of cool. I mean, when I first started watching the show, I was like, these are nice episodes. And basically this episode is kind of developing certain character traits of different characters. I like the stuff with Susan Ivanova, you know, it shows you her relationship with her father and all that. You know, that was cool. It was cool. Some of these first, like early episodes, in my opinion, didn't really use her worth anything. But I did like this episode that you learned a little bit more about her backstory. And, this stuff will play out later on. This episode really wasn't a bad episode. Like I said, it wasn't a great episode. It didn't really do anything special or unique. It was just like an episode where we're sitting here and we're getting character development and, some background information about the different species. It's a pretty good episode, man. I actually liked Sinclair and Londo working together to go in there, and they were, trying to find Adira, trying to get to her before Trackus did. I actually liked that pairing, and I wish that's a pairing that they would have done more with. They were kind of like, Batman and Robin, Kirk and Spock, Starsky and Hutch. I like them together, and I feel like they could have put them together more in this season, which I don't really think they did a lot of, but I kind of liked it. This actually was just kind of a fun episode. It wasn't really anything world shattering, and by world shattering, I mean the only thing that really was at risk was Londo's career and some other politicians he had dirt on. It wasn't, the world wasn't going to get destroyed. The galaxy was going to get torn up. The station was going to get blown to pieces, But I liked the episode. Also, I would say the guy Trackus. I liked his character. They fooled him at the end. Okay, they made a fool out of him, but he was not a fool. Okay, I like his character. He was actually a decent sub-villain. I wish he could have come back. To the best of my knowledge, I don't think he was in any other episodes that I can personally recall from watching the series. I mean, if you really think about it, his whole plan actually was rock solid. I mean, here you have this guy, and he must have observed Londo all this time. He knows he loves beautiful women, so he knows what he will fall for. And he has this beautiful woman, I assume, go up there and flirt with Londo and catch his attention. And then, basically sleep with him, drug him, and get this information back from him. And Londo actually can't go officially and do anything because it would alert people in his government that he had screwed up. Okay. This dude actually had a very good plan, a very solid plan. He was a very intelligent villain, in my opinion, and he could have come back. I wish they had brought him back. Okay. Like I said, he could have been a nice reoccurring villain who popped up on the show every, couple of episodes and caused problems for them or something like that. And I thought the actor who played him very well. He stood out in my opinion, but also he didn't overdo it. Okay. He was a good actor. I don't remember what the guy's name was, but I thought he played the character very well. And I feel like he's a character who could have been developed more. Who could have been a returning villain on the show. And like I said, he was an intelligent guy. I like villains who are intelligent. He wasn't a criminal genius or a mastermind, but a pretty slick dude to take somebody's biggest weakness and use it against them like that. Because he made a fool out of Londo, if you really want to get down to it, And that's one thing I like about Babylon 5, man. All of the characters make mistakes. They all have weaknesses. They're not perfect. Londo mistake was his lust, basically his lust for women, wine, power. That's basically a central theme. And I guess that's one thing that this episode establishes is, it basically shows you that he can make bad decisions based on his desires. And that's what Trackers took advantage of, okay? Like I said, I love that. I love that this series, that every character has flaws, and they have mistakes, and they do dumb things at times. Despite being very intelligent, they still do stupid, dumb things. And this was Londo's time to do something dumb. He does a bunch of dumb stuff later on, but you see that about his character, and I like that, okay? Yeah, that's something I like very much about the series. You know, the more I think about it, this was actually a pretty good episode, man. Jakar played a decent role here. They actually use him to trick Trackers. And later on at the end of the episode, they tell him, hey, thank you. Without your help, it would have been the end of my career. So you basically saved Londo's career and helped the Centauri government avoid, major embarrassment. And of course, we all know that Jakar loved just hearing that, he loved hearing that he had actually unknowingly helped the Centauri and Londo. But, man, like I said, it's a pretty good episode. It was actually, I pretty much, one thing I like about Babylon 5 is I actually can't think of any episodes that were bad, okay? There was no bad episodes that I can think of, but, not the best episode in the series, because like I said, you can tell that the series still is trying to find itself, but definitely a good episode, definitely worth watching. Give it a shot, man. You will enjoy it.